Welcome to Red Bull Wololo Legacy, and in this opening round match we have got DeMusliM representing Team Liquid in blue as the Ottomans facing up against Capoch playing in yellow, opening up with the Mongols, and he will be playing in the north of the map, which will be Prairie. Prairie, a really super interesting and aggressive map in many ways. You don't really have that many wood lines, as you can see, very sparse amounts of wood, and that can become a big problem very quickly if you're under pressure early. And two civilizations known for their early aggression, the Mongols, one of the original civilizations released on the opening stages and patches of Age of Empires 4, but the Ottomans, one of the new civilizations from the new downloadable content alongside the Malians. Now they're getting a bit of a reputation for early aggression as well, especially with the early military schools they can often place, but DeMusliM not doing such a build today. He's not going for an instant military school. In fact, he's going to go for a fast uptime to that feudal age, and they do also get the bonus of cheaper production buildings, so we'll be able to afford those buildings a bit quicker. On the other hand, the Mongols going for an outpost rush, or at least spearman opening with the barracks. Under the influence of the Uvu, hasn't queued up the spearmen just yet, doesn't have the food in order to do so, it seems. But I suspect those spearmen will be out soon. The Khan heading forward just to see where those spearmen might end up hitting. But look at this uptime for the Ottomans, going up now with the twin minaret madrasa, with 4 villagers building that. The landmark that gives them a really big injection of food. This is nothing to be sniffed at. This is actually a really nice bonus. 50% faster the food is harvested here, and it's four berry bushes that are grown, and they keep replacing themselves after 120 seconds if they're depleted. So it's a really nice boost there for the Ottomans in the food count, and it means you can save villagers on food and put them more onto wood if you want to double down on the feudal age aggression. Khan being annoying on the gold villagers there, 3 of them at the moment. And acting as a mill as well, the minaret madrasa, the twin minaret madrasa, may be a source of being able to get that wheelbarrow upgrade. In fact, it is a source that you can do it if he decides to. As we see 2 spearmen heading forward for the Mongols with their worker in behind, maybe looking to put an outpost. Where will that outpost go? Possibly on that wood line, and that'll be a challenge because, well, where does he go? This is what we discussed about Prairie being so exposed and open. I mean, the next wood line for the Ottomans here is going to be around here on the east side. I mean, it's not a bad spot actually, to try and protect this bit of economy, berries and deer, but this is a problem. This outpost is going to be a challenge for DeMusliM to deal with. He probably will see that though, quite possibly. In fact, he might not be able to see past the wood. He does see it. The villagers come out to try and torch this down, and the trouble for the outpost rush though has been nerfed quite a bit. The outposts only have 750 HP now, and they do take a long time to build, but Capoch has to delete that, doesn't manage to get it up, and nice pressure, but has been backed off. And he deletes the mining camp so that there's no raiding bonus that the Mongols get by setting that on fire. And the outpost now going up, trying to go up again, and DeMusliM needs to be keeping an eye on that. Has got up to the next stage, does have a village on stone, maybe looking to get that military school. Gonna drop off the wood, maybe drop down a production buildings, sending a couple of villagers there from food, try and push this away, try and torch this down. He's keen to keep the villagers on wood so he can drop the production buildings, the archery range, and continue to pile on some pressure. He does have 4 villagers on the berries there, and that's what is quite important. Those berries, getting the food faster means you can actually survive with only 4 villagers on food quite nicely. We're dropping that archery range, putting the pressure, fighting with villagers. He doesn't yet have textiles, but needs to micro as well. Might lose 1 villager, does indeed, to the Khan. The outpost is halfway there to be built, and trying to delay that outpost as long as he can for that archery range to go up. The archery range does go up. Will take a couple of seconds for an archer to pop out. 15 seconds. Will that outpost go up? The villager is quite weak. Quite a few number of spearmen there though. He needs to snipe this villager if he can. DeMusliM. He might let the outpost go up, but the trouble if he does that, the units might garrison inside, and that is a huge problem. Villagers now coming out, try and torch this down. He needs to deal with this if he can. Yeah, he's going to torch down the outpost. Going to go for the villager as well at the same time. Let's just see what he focuses on. He needs. Oh, the outpost goes up, and the units garrison inside. That's an issue for DeMusliM. He's going to try and torch this down now with the villagers he has on hand. Doesn't have textiles just yet. Scouts getting involved as well. Archer does pop out. Has 2 archers now, so when the villagers do pop out and the spearmen pop out, the archers will take care of the rest. Might lose 1 last villager. He does indeed. Villagers get pulled back now. Villager might go down for the Mongols, and that's key. That means another outpost will be difficult to put up unless Capoch invests in another village coming forward. And now DeMusliM going to be pushing that back with the archers that he has. It's pretty important. Khan heading back home as well. Now the early pressure has been staved off there by DeMusliM. That's very key to be able to do that. Does have good access to the wood now, and he's actually keeping 11 villagers on that wood. Wants to try and get as much as he can in there. They stopped production of the archers. Has 3 in total. Might be looking to drop down a military school soon. Does actually have 150 stone, so just needs a bit more wood and he'll be able to do that. But Capoch getting to the feudal age now behind this. And actually keeping 4 villages on gold. That could be a signal that he might be going for the castle age. But having said that, he's dropping a stable himself, so could be thinking about getting some horsemen after he gets the horseman upgrade. We shall see. Keeping some villages on gold now as well, DeMusliM. Quite a few villages on stone actually. Might be a second town centre played by DeMusliM. Getting a wheelbarrow. Suspect it might be a second town centre rather than the military school first. There's that large gong there for the vizier points. It is Anatolian hills. You can see those sheep spawning there. Quite nicely there for DeMusliM. Khan taking some arrow fire from the town centre. Gonna start harassing the villagers on gold again. Is Capoch sending 2 spearmen. The archers on hand to try and defend that position. And the food income going to be nice here. Extra 8 sheep. And the fact that he's got twin minaret madrasa. He's certainly saving up the wood for a second town centre. Where will that second town centre go? This could be a very nice spot for it. We'll save a wood, deer, and berries. We shall see where he decides to go here. Stays with quite a few villages on stone as well. 5 of them. Maybe saving up for that military school after all. In fact, no, the TC is going to go where the gold is. And that makes sense because actually the gold is relatively exposed. And he won't want to lose control of that. Has access to the berries as well. And Capoch will be aware of this. Now, Capoch has a decision on his hands. Does he try and match this with the 2 town centre of himself, or does he look to be aggressive? He's looking to be aggressive with 2 horsemen coming out from the stable. Does have 4 villages on gold. It just feels like it might be a castle age. The timing he's hoping for. He needs to make a decision as to whether he expands the economy or goes for the greed in terms of tech up to the next stage. He's going to try and deny the town centre for as long as he can. Town centre is in range of the capital town centre, so he should be able to get this up. Just a matter of being delayed a little bit. Horseman diving in again, archers getting some value. Also going to try and pick off a village or 2 if he can, but no, only so much that Capoch can do when this town centre is in range of the capital town centre. Does back off quite nicely though, doesn't lose a unit. Shows you the quality of these players, and holy smokes, it looks like DeMusliM might be going for, he's transitioning some villages off of stone now. It might be interesting to see whether he's going to go for 2 military schools or an extra town centre. We'll have to see. Doesn't have enough wood for a town centre anyway, so another one. And that'd be super greedy. I suspect it won't be the case. I'm looking to build that second town centre, get it up and running, but Capoch doing a great job of delaying that for as long as possible. Because Capoch does appear to be looking to go to that castle age, as you can see. Gold is almost there at 420, needs quite a bit more food though. Couple of archers just keeping those villagers safe. Quite a few horsemen. Might be looking to snipe out that villager on stone. Capoch heading towards the east side, just keeping an eye on things, seeing if there's any expansion or any villagers here to be picked off, and there isn't. DeMusliM keeping his economy quite tightly packed, and he's got quite a few villages on gold, which signifies potentially looking to go up to the next stage himself. Quite a significant number of villages on gold, actually, 9 of them. Now Capoch going to be getting ready to go to the next stage, most likely with the gold landmark, the step redoubt. There it is. It is the step redoubt. A great landmark for the Mongols. Actually acts as a GER and enables the gold that's dropped off there to be increased by 50%. Good little bit of eco boost with that. Villagers garrison inside the town centre, looks to try and take out the Khan. Khan gets out of the way. Oh no, he doesn't. He dies. The hard Khan perishes to that town centre. Economy looking relatively even now. 32 villagers for DeMusliM, 32 for Capoch. So overall not too bad for Capoch. I think, you know, DeMusliM losing some villagers early on has made a difference. Military school being placed now by DeMusliM. Has enough stone for another, but we shall see what he decides to do with this stone. Doesn't quite have the wood for another military school, but we shall see. Capoch is now making that transition to Castle Age and maybe looking to get some knights out. It does have stable, does have the ability to make man-at-arms as well from that barracks. There's that second military school coming out for the Ottomans. And that Castle Age time now at 10 minutes 44 seconds. And barracks are being placed as well. Looks like DeMuslim's going to need a bit of a standing army to survive this. There's that step redoubt. And they're moving out to the wood line. Trouble for DeMusliM is he's quite far away from that castle age, so might need some static defences. We shall see what he opts to do and how he decides to tackle this problem of his opponent being in the castle age. Does have plenty of gold in the bank. Going for the further woodline, that's relatively exposed there. Keeping his archers on hand, but he's going to be careful about units coming out here. It is double production of lancers. They're on the field and heading forward. Good thing that the barracks has been built, looking to get some spearmen. The military school have been toggled to spearmen as well, and that's a nice move. Man-at-arms would be a whole different story to deal with. It will be lancers that he's dealing with, at least for now. Scout heading on the right side as well. Double broadaxe coming in. Two lancers going to be harassing those villagers on woodline. Does get a charge attack, takes one villager and a second most likely. There we are, two villagers, and that's good eco damage for Capoch already. And this is the thing, when you're trying to punish two town centre greed, which the Ottomans have gone for, you need to get those villager kills, and if you do so, that can really help you. Especially because of the wood and stone investment that would have been placed in that second town centre. Those villagers, if they're taken out, they won't pay for themselves anymore. Don't forget the food investment as well with those villagers, so this is a tricky situation for DeMusliM. Another charge attack does go off, takes another villager there. Good value from those two knights. Now, DeMusliM going up with the Mehmed Imperial Armory. Has a couple more horsemen head forward and trying to pick off a villager. Doesn't quite manage it, might lose a couple here. Being in the castle, it sounds like he's got a prayer tent. Yeah, he does indeed. Shaman coming out there for the Mongols and Capoch, picking up some relics, has one in his grasp already. We're looking to bring that home. Spearman pushing the lancers away. Does manage to get another villager, so eco damage is looking good here for Capoch, is doing quite a bit of damage. Army value looking strong for Capoch as well, sitting at around about 2,000 versus 1,000. There was a horseman there, does pick off a villager. Things going right here for Capoch it seems, but the eco still looking strong. DeMusliM holding it stable. 43 villagers to 41, and we'll be getting to the castle age soon. Military numbers relatively similar as well, so DeMusliM holding on for now, and it really is the onus for the Mongols to keep on with the aggression, especially because they can't wall up and protect economies. They do have the static defenses with the outposts, of course, though, but they really want to take advantage of the pocket economies by being aggressive. Speaking of which, he might be looking to try and move over to the woodline now on the northeast. Woodlines are pretty scarce in this game, in this map. Spearman engaging the man-at-arms. There aren't really enough man-at-arms to do huge amounts of damage there for Capoch, but he takes the engagement in any case. He takes the trade. Another weak lancer there. Might want to try and keep that alive, Capoch. We hear more relics being picked up. Two have been deposited, so that's going to be a nice gold income here for the Mongols. Two have been deposited, one more in the clutches of a shaman somewhere. Let's maybe try to take this game to mid to late game. We see another relic being picked up, so two in the grasp of shaman. I'd be looking to get ending up with 4 relics, and also looking to get that sacred site on the right side. This is the power of early pressure and aggression and map control. 3 military schools though on the field for DeMusliM does mean he's going to be getting 3 units. Looks like Sipahi is what they're toggled to at the moment. 1 Mehter queued up. Interesting opening now, but that eco elite is starting to build up for DeMusliM a little bit. Capoch hasn't done enough damage, it seems, that he would like to. He won't know that, as he starts to get an army composition of man-at-arms and crossbows. A couple of lancers there in for good measure. As a 4th military school comes out for the Ottomans, DeMusliM really making use of that bonus and that special building that they have. Shaman here taking engagement, does clear that up, has a middle sacred site as well, so a lot of gold will be coming in for the Mongols, especially with the step down. 3rd relic is being pulled in now. A lot of gold coming in for DeMusliM as well, though. He does have a lot of villagers there. 9 to be exact. He'd have 18, but 9 are being pulled away to the bearers, it seems. Going towards the forward stone, maybe looking to get a keep potentially. Capoch is going for a second town center himself, looking to match up with the economy. I'm not sure how I feel about this, because the Ottomans get 3 units out of 4 military schools. Over time, that will possibly swing the tide of the fight, and it feels like Capoch is letting up a little bit, quite surprisingly. There might be a big fight here with the meta involved, with the attack speed buff there by 15%. That could be huge, with a mangonel popping out from the Mehmed Imperial Armory as well. 3 siege units, a couple of lancers going to harass those villagers on stone. The Mangonel gets a shot off, but doesn't do all that much damage. And the army here looking good for DeMusliM. 33 versus 30. He's pushing the army back. Khan gets killed. 16 minutes into the game, and it just feels like this is a large push coming in for DeMusliM now. I'm not sure if Capoch has enough to deal with this. He's got plenty of economy. He's got 51 villages, and don't forget the gold income from the 3 relics. He's actually got 5 relics in his grasp, but only 3 deposited, 2 sacred sites. More than enough from the economy point of view. Getting another prayer tent so he can deposit the other 2 relics. Trouble is he invested in that second town centre, so his military production will slow down a little bit because he's investing in economy. Trying to keep up on that front. We'll be able to with that second town centre, but trouble for the Mongols is that meanwhile the Ottomans are getting 4 military school worth production for free. Those 3 units might swing this fight a little bit. As you see, the military numbers starting to build up 43 to 35, and DeMusliM is saving up for a big fight in the Castle Age, getting the blacksmith upgrades. As you can see, not many blacksmith upgrades are in for the Mongols and Capoch. There we are. The 5th relic is going to be deposited. Quite a few shaman there, maybe using, could be useful for healing up. Lancer going to dive in on those villagers. Mangonel gets a shot off. 1 villager does go down, but there are crossbows in the mix there for DeMusliM, and with that mech there involved with attack speed increased by 50%, that buff is actually pretty special, ladies and gents. Next engagement now, trying to put an outpost there with 4 villagers. That won't happen. Shaman going to heal up the units that are on the retreat, and DeMusliM smells blood here. He's going to take a fight, and this could be the decisive fight. Capoch probably can't afford to take this. Going to lose 4 shaman here. Might be overrun a little bit, and DeMusliM actually heading back, being patient with the situation, waiting for the upgrades to his Sipahi. He wants them veteran, and also getting Bloomery, investing in the blacksmith upgrades. He knows he has window of opportunity here. He's going to double down with blacksmith upgrades and push on from here. With the Mangonel behind, his infantry are at a lot of pressure. Can dive in underneath the town centre. He feels confident to do so there, DeMusliM, and a new Khan does rise to join to the fight, but Khan is almost immediately going to go down. Manages to survive, but the sacred sites happen in play now for Capoch. DeMusliM pushing in. He knows it's on the timer. He lost all the relics, and he's actually lost all the sacred sites, but he's going to dive underneath this town centre and take the fight, and he could still win even being underneath the town centre. Mangonel is there, Lance wrapping around, trying to maybe snipe that Mangonel, but he thinks better of it because there are a large number of crossbows there, and this is a huge amount of army there for DeMusliM. Oh, huge Mangonel shot there. Villagers hardly any HP left on them. Another Mangonel will take them all out, and oh, that's an absolute massacre underneath that town centre. 15 villagers garrisoned inside. That is a lot of idle time that's caused, and the unit's actually focusing on the pastures rather than the town centre. Not entirely sure why, but Mangonel is there, and yeah, this is a problem. When you have an army that can just stay underneath the town centre like this, that spells a lot of trouble. And Capoch dwindling numbers of the military, losing his crossbow numbers, is being overwhelmed here. Mangonel in the back as well. Mehter helping that army, and looks like he's still targeted on the attack drums, increasing the attack speed by 15%. Could potentially think about switching that to the range defense, seeing he's underneath the town centre, but forward keep coming out for DeMusliM. He wants to try and finish this game as quickly as possible. He has the standing army, 38 to 9. Capoch has to find a way to stop this keep, but it finds it difficult because there's another Mangonel on the field as well. And there it is. Capoch taps out. DeMusliM takes game number 1 on Prairie, and Capoch will need a response in this opening round of Red Bull Wololo Legacy. Will he come up with a response in game number 2? Let's find out. Game number 2 between DeMusliM and Capoch. We are here on Mediterranean, and well, match point here for DeMusliM, winning the first game on Prairie. He will be looking to double down and get this second victory of the game, and the set rather, to get to the winners round. DeMusliM playing on the west as the blue in English, in blue as the English rather, and we have got Capoch playing in yellow as the Holy Roman Empire on the east side of the map. And these are 2 civilizations commonly picked on Mediterranean, actually. Interesting matchup because we've got plenty of other sets casted with these civilizations played on Mediterranean, so it certainly seems to be the meta of the 2 civilizations to be picked. And especially because the English, they do have some good bonuses on water, decent bonuses. The economy, and whether it be fishing ships or traders, they are cheaper, and also the military ships, of course, are cheaper in the navy side of things. And with the Holy Roman Empire, they have a great land economy with the prelate being able to boost those villages, gathering the wood there. The 40% boost there, as you can see, inspired by the prelate. That strong wood economy will translate into a strong navy as well. So I mean, it's quite an interesting matchup because whilst you do have the powerhouse of the Holy Roman Empire with economy, And in many ways, often people would say that the Holy Roman Empire do really, really well against the English. It has to be said, in the super late game, I mean, that is where the English really thrive. And so it just feels like, in terms of win conditions on hybrid maps like this, it does feel like the English have a little bit more to them. They get, you know, an equivalent, not an equivalent, but they get a decent bonus with the cheaper units from the dock to help counteract the fantastic economy of the Holy Roman Empire. But as the game does go late, in the super late game, the English can benefit from free gold from enclosures, that constant passive gold generation, infinite gold effectively. And so if the game is drawn out super, super late, well, that's where the English will kind of dominate and thrive. And so it just feels like the English do have a little bit of an edge on that side of things if they can survive the early onslaught or the early pressure from the Holy Roman Empire. And it's not like they don't have the tools to do so, because they do have cheaper units from the Dark, and we'll see how he decides to play this DeMusliM, whether he decides to go for multiple docks early in the Dark Age. Looks like just one dock opening for both players so far. Only 2 minutes into the game, of course, and we shall see if they start to focus on getting the feudal age or a second dock. Red Bull Wololo Legacy, a fantastic tournament so far. $300,000 prize pool, huge prize pool. And I can't wait to see some more games from this tournament. I do have a full playlist of a lot of the games that have been casted. Do check it out if you're interested in the other matchups. I'm a little bit under the weather as well, so the voice isn't quite up to scratch. But this is just too big a tournament to miss out the opportunity to cast, so I'm still certainly looking forward to it. 4 villagers on gold suggests that Capoch is now sort of eyeing up that feudal age and trying to get the navy out on the field. And what's super interesting as well is that whilst you can often think that getting to the feudal age can be a big difference, well, it does get you up and running with the military production from the navy side of things on the docks, but the time it takes to get across this Mediterranean and this pond, you know, that does play a big role, and the defender's advantage is quite large, especially with the healing capabilities of the dock and the production. You know, if you have a fight here, Capoch will be a lot better in terms of reinforcements joining the fight quicker. So it can be a bit of a snowball effect. Sometimes you just have to build up like a large amount of navy to take a decisive fight, but we have seen some back and forth games on this map, so I'm super excited to see how this plays out. Three villages on God now means that DeMusliM will be looking to get to the castle, to the feudal age rather, with the council hall, building it with 3 villages, and the Arca Chapel being built by 5 villagers on that wood line will act as a drop-off point, but more importantly, will enable the prelate to garrison inside that and enable the prelate to have a sphere of influence with that Arca Chapel once it's built. Second dock being built now by Capoch and the Holy Roman Empire. We will see a second dock from the English. Not just yet. Well, I take that back. It is there. It's already up and running. DeMusliM going for an interesting approach here, keeping the docks separate from each other, rather separate. And so something to think about as well is winning water is not easy. You might win the naval fight, but to take out the docks is quite a task. These guys have 2000 HP, and sometimes you can get Arislitz upgrades for them, so they can be a challenge to take care of. And as long as the docks survive, you do have shorefish available to take. So whilst you might not necessarily be able to take control of the deep water fish if you're pushed off, you can still have a bit of economy on the shorefish. So this is an interesting strategy by DeMusliM. He might be thinking about that in the medium to late game. Obviously he wouldn't want to lose out on water, no player would, but just as a contingency, if he does have 2 docks spread out and has the ability to get some fishing ships just on the shore fish there if he needs to. Both players reaching the feudal age at very similar times now. As you can see, the sphere of influence on the Arca Chapel, boosting a lot of the wood villages, and this is where the economy really starts to kick in for the Holy Roman Empire. The prelates making those villagers gather wood 40% faster. Okay, we do see some galleys popping out, and they're actually heading forwards now. We see some galleys queued up for DeMusliM as well, but not really queuing up from both docks just yet, not able to afford it. That's a bit of a worry because the army is coming forward for Capoch, and he might be able to snipe some fish, and it's quite likely he will snipe some fish. And we'll be looking to take out some of these fishing ships. Just so you're aware, actually, I do remember and recollect a specific match from Red Bull Wololo Legacy. It was between Beastie QT and Vortex, the same civilization matchup. Same map, and it was an absolutely banger of a game, so I suspect this one will be probably just as good, and we're hoping for better even. As we see 4 archer ships, there is a Hulk now on the field for DeMusliM, and we have seen some interesting strategies in terms of water balance. It does feel like these archer ships can take a really good, cost-effective trade against the Hulk, especially when the Hulks are in low numbers, and so DeMusliM will need to build up numbers of these. These are expensive, so he needs to bear that in mind. As another galley pops out, he's looking to mix them up, and it just feels like sometimes the Hulk are there for meat shield, but the trouble for DeMusliM is that the military numbers really starting to build up. The archer ships, despite the English having cheaper navy, it's actually Capoch is being able to fund a better navy. Look at the Holy Roman Emperor symbol on those sails. Looks absolutely fantastic, those galleys. English, of course, having their traditional cross on those sails. This is what we talked about, the fishing ships not going too far out. Not venturing out into dangerous territory, just settling on the shorefish for now. That's a large number of archer ships. It looks like Capoch is saving up for a big fight on water. On land, the English are being pressurizing a little bit with the man-at-arms. Forces Capoch into an outpost in a very nice spot will offer a lot of protection. A couple of early man-at-arms going to try and deny that, but it's just too close to the town centre, you feel. In fact, he will be picking off maybe 1 or 2 villages. There is a longbow there as well, and outpost does go up. Villagers will garrison inside most likely, or maybe not. They're just going to fight it. It's creating a lot of idle time. Certainly helpful for DeMusliM. Demo ships come in to try and take out some of the sprinkled ships, the Hulks there, and the Hulks do back off. Oh, those are galleys actually. It's surprising that the demo ships focused on the galleys, but the galleys are doing well against the demos. We didn't quite see it. The demos might have been not getting close enough to the sprinkled ships to get the attack off, so might have just taken a trade on the galleys instead. Heads back there, Capoch building up a large number though. The DeMusliM needs to be careful not to be pushed off of water so early. Only 9 minutes into the game. And also being pushed back by the outpost, and looks like Capoch is defending his gold vein as well with the outpost. Two docks for both players. The archer ships heading towards those fishing ships again. An outpost going up for DeMusliM. That's actually interesting because these these Hulks might actually benefit from the network of castles bonus. I suspect they will. And it offers a drop back point to this area, especially if Aristocrats come in. That might scale quite well in the castle age with sprinkled emplacements, but talking about sprinkled emplacements, there aren't any emplacements at least in this outpost. And the galleys are heading back, going to be sniping a lot of these infantry. That's actually quite a nice play there by Capoch. DeMusliM trying to go around on the coastline, but the archer ships, oh, big shot there from the archer ships. He wipes a lot of the infantry there, a lot of HP lost, and I mean, he could fight this with villagers early here, to be honest, with Capoch, and he won't be too worried about that. It's going to wall up this side here, so he can actually venture out with his archer ships, which are now heading forward now. A lot of them, 10 of them, full archer ships is the play here for Capoch. I was actually theory crafting because I had access to the PUP and the civilizations on the private build, and we were comparing the cost-effective trade of archer ships versus sprinkled ships, and they just do so well. DeMusliM trying to micro get some value and heal up this unit. It doesn't appear as though the actual navy benefits from the network of castles bonus anyway. DeMusliM does lose some navy there, and Capoch stabilizing himself back on land. He keeps a galley there on the shoreline just in case, just to patrol and keep that area safe. And looks like this unit's going to be trying to get some value on the east side there for DeMusliM. Man-at-arms engages with the scout. Interesting state of affairs, because now Burggrave Palace is the choice for Capoch. He's looking for an aggressive castle age. He can get some man-at-arms on the field, and well, DeMusliM is actually pretty far away from that castle age, really. He's not got the economy to sustain or get there anytime soon. Struggling on the gold mostly. Does have 47 eco workers though. The third dock coming out for now for DeMusliM. He actually seems to have a bit of a stronger fishing economy, strangely enough. I mean, this is interesting because Capoch has actually invested a lot in military, and I'm not sure that's the play because he's not actually using it. It's kind of the situation where it's awkward because he's invested a lot in military ships and not getting too much value from them. But instead, what DeMuslim's done is instead of investing in huge amounts of military on the waters, he is just going for fishing ships on the shoreline, and he's maintaining a lot of economy by doing so. He's invested his resources into economy and just enough attack ships and military ships just to hold on. Whereas Capoch has invested a lot in these archer ships and hasn't really got all that much value from them. Trying to get that value now by pushing forward. DeMusliM does have some army there. Gonna harass the villagers on gold. Villagers garrison inside the outpost. Galleys do back off there for Capoch, and 10, 11 galleys that are being invested in, not getting all that much value. That's actually a bit of a resource drain for Capoch, which he could have used for other things. And does have that castle age though, which is pretty nice. Possibly going to be starting to flood some man-at-arms if he can, but as we said, it's very hard to push these docks back. As you can see, look at the emplacement in that dock. It's very difficult to overwhelm. Man-at-arms going to chase down the infantry there for the English. Doesn't yet have marching drills. Looks like fishing ships are now starting to be produced by Capoch. He recognizes he does have decent control, but that could have been done a lot earlier, and that's actually an interesting feature to consider in this match. This idea that spending so much resources on military are not really making it count all that much, and with minimal investment here, DeMusliM is defending his whole economy. I say whole economy, but a large proportion of his food economy. And well, DeMusliM will be going up with the White Tower to the next stage. He doesn't feel he wants another town centre, and in fact he wants that stability, that protection, and this is quite a nice choice because we don't see this landmark being chosen too much, and I suspect he's aware of the incoming burgher of Palace, the aggression. He's aware of that, and he needs to be concerned about protecting his base, and it's a nice position. It's going to protect this wood eco and the gold, get to that castle age. And well, the interesting thing is, we've discussed it on many occasions, that when you age up, that can often be where you're most vulnerable, and we might see Capoch trying to double down now and be aggressive, trying to punish the castle age upgrade and try and push this back a little bit, because obviously it's a large investment in resources in terms of getting to the next stage, and Capoch will know that DeMuslim's just invested quite a lot, but that White Tower already getting value. He's going to get the network of citadels as well, and that's going to be hard to push, that's for sure. The English, one of the best civilizations for defending with. Yeah, and that burgher of Palace play is kind of nullified by this White Tower now. Gives a bit of breathing space for DeMusliM to continue his fishing economy. And well, the economy is actually looking stronger here in terms of numbers, but of course don't forget the 40% buff that this Archon Chapel is bringing. It's quite extensive. Well, the Prelate's not actually in there because of course the Sphere of Influence not really affecting the wood villagers there, too far. And I'm just going to go down on the west side, I can try and get some value. No villagers there, 2 gold plains there, that could become strategically important. They're just going on the deer carcass. So anything's stabilizing. Might be in for a long game here actually. A bit standoffish at this point. Look at the navy though. It looks like Capoch is heading in for a big fight. It's got quite a few demolition ships. And yeah, certainly before the tournament started, I was thinking and considering the army composition, it does feel like the demo ships and archer ships gets the best value in terms of army composition on the navy side of things. But what DeMusliM is doing is rather exciting. The fact that he's keeping his fishing economy alive with minimal investment. As I say that fishing economy might just be going down now. Demo ships do get so much value there for Capoch, and the fishing economy will be nullified now. Capoch taking the fight now, but the issue is that these docks have emplacements, and he needs to be careful about that. And it's very difficult to push this back. Sure, he's taken out a lot of the army. There wasn't that much there to begin with. He's going to disrupt the fishing economy, but he can't really always push in. And DeMusliM might just be inclined to pull these fishing ships onto the shorefish. That's exactly what he does. Oh, of course he lost a lot of fishing ships already, but still 2 working, and he could potentially do that for the other shoreline fish that's there. And it's very difficult for Capoch to fully take apart that food economy. Speaking of food economy, pretty even. Look at the resources count, and also the gather speed is pretty similar. In fact, the English are actually doing better on that front. The army coming out on the west, trying to push this couple of man-at-arms away. Don't forget as well, the English are no slouches on land in terms of food economy. Could always think about transitioning onto farms if he so wishes, but it looks like actually DeMusliM is saving up quite a bit of food and gold. I mean, could he be thinking about Imperial Age? And it could be the case because he's actually stonewalling up. I feel like DeMusliM is going to be greedy. He's going to look to stonewall. keep his opponent away. Maybe look to get to that Imperial Age. And getting enclosures would be incredibly powerful for that economy. As the Man-at-Arms does head into that wood line, a couple of crossbows will push that back for sure. Heavy on stone here, DeMusliM. Probably needs to stonewall this eastern side, if you can. Neither player really dominant on terms of relics. One relic has been picked up by the Holy Roman Empire, Capoch, and Capoch can go to the Imperial Age himself with the Palace of Swabia. That's going to build up a large economy lead. This Palace of Swabia, pretty crazy, acts as a town centre, produces villagers 200% faster and at a much cheaper cost. Stone walls here complete, now moving on to the west side walls, but there are man-at-arms there. DeMusliM needs to be careful about that. Getting armoured hull, which increases the health of the military ships, and these man-at-arms just go past the villagers. Bit of a missed opportunity there for Capoch. Big missed opportunity there. Lots of villagers. Oh, he's going to spot it now though. Villagers might go down, but the walls probably will go up as the attack move. Doesn't seem so. Capoch is going to miss out on opportunity. No, he spots it. DeMusliM spots it as well, so might not get too many casualties. It does feel like does he have textiles? He doesn't, but even so, man-at-arms aren't hugely, you know, they're not spectacular at taking villagers down. Especially with wheelbarrow, the villagers can really make a quick dash away. Bit of an army here though on the waters. Quite a few hulks there. That could actually do quite well against the archer ships. We shall see, but there are lots of demolition ships. This could be bad news for DeMusliM. I'm not sure if he has quite enough here. Going to take engagement. I think he backs off. He realizes he can't win that fight. Capoch doesn't notice. He doesn't chase it down. A carrot coming out. Holy moly. An Imperial Age warship. I don't think DeMusliM can take that fight now. He's going to have to back off. And delays the walls up for a short period of time, but crossbows will ensure that wall does go up on the west side, and that gives DeMusliM a lot of protection. Still stuck in the castle age though, DeMusliM. Is struggling now heavily on the food count. You can see his resources coming in per minute. He might need a hard transition to food, but he needs to protect himself. He also have quite a few crossbows. He's spending a lot in the castle age. He'll be looking to be doing some damage if he can, but the trouble is that the Holy Roman Empire can really boom up on land rather with Palace of Swabia. Cannon emplacements in the outpost, and this is bad news for these units. They have to run away. They can't get too close. And don't forget the Holy Roman Empire technically have they have a huge tech advantage in the Imperial Age, and lots of fishing economy now coming out for Capoch. 83 economy versus 64. Really starting to build up. Looks like DeMuslim's going to have to invest a lot more in Castle Age to stay alive, if he has Imperial Age in his mind. Struggling on food, that is for sure. Palisade walls coming out there for Capoch. Going to trap those units in. Still another way to exit though. The village is going to try and make it through. I'm not sure if they'll make it in time, or they will, because they're possibly good. The crossbows stopped there for a second. Villagers might just about make it. We shall see, but there's a bit of an engagement on the navy side of things. Capoch pushing forward. There is a carrack there as well. It does look this is a bit of a unsurmountable task for DeMusliM to defend. There's quite a few demolition ships. Will they get a big hit? Looks like they will. Yeah, big demolition shots there, and it wasn't as big as we could have hoped, but it does do a lot of damage. And but again, the defender's advantage. Look at the docks. They're firing back, and despite such a huge military numbers on the navy side of things, they're being pushed back. And that's actually a really kind of bad trade there for Capoch in the end. There is a carrack there, going to look to try and take out some of his infantry, but this is it. It's so hard to be pushed off water entirely. It almost feels like he can't often at times, and Capoch lost a lot of military there. This could be DeMuslim's chance to maybe think about going to that Imperial Age if he stops production. It might be on his mind, but he's just so far away on that food count. The Russian pushing forward, and now the concern for Capoch doesn't really have the army to defend his fishing ships. He does have 3 docks though, so those units will be coming out. The carracks are coming out. Should hold them off for now. Man-at-Arms going to chase down the crossbows and the longbows out there. Yeah, and now DeMusliM has to head back, so it's always a bit of a cat and mouse, back and forth on water it seems. Crossbows going to try and micro this down as best they can, trying to get as much value, and I'm not sure the Man-at-Arms will be able to do too much more damage now that DeMuslim's microing that very nicely. Food income now is actually starting to pick up there for DeMusliM. I suspect he might have transitioned to farming economy, and that's exactly what's happened. Yeah, spending his wood for cheaper farms for that the English get, and make that farming economy starting to roll up and boost that economy. There's a keep there on the north, therefore Capoch going to solidify that position, try and defend his economy, which is looking quite strong right now. Did lose a lot of navy though. That was a lot of units. that went down. A lot of resources went into the army. That keep will offer a lot of protection though for Capoch. Does have one relic somewhere. I think he's picked it up. On the overlay it appears that he has a relic, but I'm not entirely sure where it is. In any case, he's sending some villages on the west side now. Be interested to see where these guys are going to. Does have enough stone for another keep. Actually building an outpost first on this gold vein. And we talked about this, how the game, you know, the longer it goes, you feel like English are favoured because of the fact that if they get to Imperial Age, they can get enclosures and have a good economy with the gold income coming in. Whilst Capoch does have the better economy for now, he needs to scale that into army to do some damage before we get into the super late game, which is really the domain of the English. It's where they really have a power spike, and Maradon's going to try and get some value for Capoch, but won't be able to manage it because there's a lot of crossbows on the field. He knows that the farming transition's in. There is a keep there on the right side for the defense as well. Looks like a couple of relics being picked up. DeMusliM setting himself up nicely for the late game. Thinking about relics now, does have quite a few villages on that gold vein, and maybe even considering getting that sacred site could be helpful as the navy fight continues. As 2 carracks, a couple of demolition ships. These warships don't seem to be trading well though, doesn't quite have the numbers. Demolition ships trying to get some value. Takes out, oof. 3 demolition ships for 1 springald. I think DeMusliM will be very happy with that trade. There's 2 carracks here, but they are going to be under pressure, and be interesting to see what the movement speed is. 1.38 tiles per second for the Hulk, and carrack only 1.25. These carracks won't be able to retreat very well. The springald ships will be able to catch up. Will they make it back in time? He might lose one. We'll see. These are expensive units to lose. Ooh, DeMusliM not focusing on the weaker one. The carracks might just survive. We shall see. DeMusliM continuing the chase. Ooh, 65 HP, not a lot left in them. Reinforcements come in, another carrack and a Hulk, and that pushes back the army for DeMusliM. And again, back and forth, but that 6 has been capped now for the English, so it's DeMusliM looking for that late kind of small edges. 3 relics in play now. Capoch has really missed out on the relics. Despite being the Holy Roman Empire, often you actually kind of associate Holy Roman Empire with the relics. Of course he went with the Burger Palace instead of the Regnitz Cathedral, but still, you know, he has prelates on the field that he could use potentially. So you start to get the feeling that DeMusliM is edging towards that Imperial Age. You might consider getting some stone walls. Instead, it's going to get some static defenses in the form of keeps. His keep will hold him quite safe for quite some time. Nice placement there. Means the shoreline is safe. Prelate heading forward. I'm not sure why. Possibly was looking to pick up a relic or 2, but it's going to run into that keep once it's built. Probably might go past it before it's built, but there are crossbows behind that. Now, DeMusliM very nicely protect on the west side. Could have been a bit nicer to get those two gold veins, but the long story short is that he doesn't necessarily need it, because being in the Imperial Age, if he gets enclosures, he'll be getting gold from the farming economy, which is starting to establish itself a little bit. No, he's only got 4 farms. A bit surprised not to see a bit more. But this comes down to the fact that he's still having fishing economy. Albeit very limited. Oh, the keep on the shoreline. The carracks actually doing decent damage against it. Looks like the carracks are going down there. Look at the emplacements from the dock, getting huge value. Keep taking down a lot of the carracks, and that gives an opportunity for DeMusliM to push back on water again. Certainly a back and forth game, but the food economy is starting to really rock and roll here for DeMusliM. Look at that, 1,500. Fishing economy is re-established slightly, and it's like Capoch trying to push DeMusliM off water again, going for another assault, wants to take a lot of the fishing ships he can. Demolition ships get, I mean, it's just not worth it. I don't know if that was worth it. He took 3 fishing ships out before demolition ships. That's a bit of a, oh, holy smokes. 2 demolition ships for DeMusliM. He gets a huge value out of his. We didn't quite see them, they were camouflaged, and Capoch clearly didn't see it either. DeMusliM pushing that back with a huge demolition ship, and now Capoch having to head back with little military on the navy. And look, DeMusliM is playing this so nicely. He started off with very little military, now he's doubling down. He wants to push Capoch off the waters now. He wants to do fishing damage if he can. He's going to get a few fishing ships here. Just the one actually so far. That keep stays alive. There's a keep there for Capoch. He wants to get some map control, doesn't want to give up too much of the map. And it looks like DeMusliM is eyeing up that Imperial Age. The demolition ship doesn't get close enough. There we are. Further farming transitions. It feels like Imperial Age is on the cards, and the Muslim might be opting for that enclosure upgrade, and he's just eyeing it up. You feel like he's got it in the back of his head, back of his mind. More fish ships go down to the galleys, and this is painful for Capoch. Loses a lot of fishing ships there. Still has 145 economy, so still very healthy. But look at that. Capoch going for a farming transition, a very hard farming transition. It does come at a big price there for Capoch and the Holy Roman Empire. It's not often something you see, but it's as a result of losing waters. Wingard Palace is the landmark of choice for DeMusliM. You're getting those cheaper trebuchets, very cheaper trebuchets. That could be an option for him to start attacking with. We shall see, but the longer the game goes on, you feel like England and the English will have a really good advantage. And there's lots of demolition ships there, but there's so many attack ships, the arrow ships. I'm not sure those demolition ships will get too close for Capoch. And he's going to lose a lot of value here. The demolition's making a run for it towards it. Doesn't get, a couple of them off. Only takes out 2 archer ships. That is huge value for DeMusliM. He took out a lot of... And DeMuslim's demolition ships, he heads in with his own and takes out 3 attack ships. And that is absolutely huge for DeMusliM. He's getting definitely the better of the trades. His army control is spot on at the moment in terms of navy. The demolition ships for Demu is so much value there to be had. And he's just now really doubling down. And he's actually going to focus now. He has springboard ships. He should be able to take out a dock or 2. And this is a problem for Capoch. He might lose water. For the first time in the game, we see a big push on the navy side of things. And it's coming from DeMusliM. Dock is on fire. Might be looking to get the next one. No villagers out to repair. It's understandable because the attack arrow ships will take care of those. Characters come out from the southern dock. Dock goes down in the middle. But might be focusing on the one in the north. And this is a problem for Capoch. He's probably going to find it difficult to get back on water. And what this does is makes a huge amount of economy available for the English. Fishing ships could be pumping out for DeMusliM now. Demolition ship, good demolition ship there for Capoch. Will that dock go down? There is a villager repairing now. Oh, that thought better of it. Dock is on fire. Will he lose it though? Yeah, he should do. There are a couple of arrow ships there. Dock does go down. Just the one dock now. Now we see the Carracks coming out for the English. Just one dock remaining. DeMusliM takes out that dock. This water is his own, and as he starts to go for fishing ships, not just yet, but he is doubling down. He's going to get another dock of his own. 4 docks there. Getting those Carracks. He smells blood here. He knows that he's got an opportunity to win waters, and it looks like he's done it. And the trouble is for the Holy Roman Empire, a lot of the farming economy is on the shoreline. That's going to be taken apart. We might lose the Ark and Chapel and the monastery as well. Relics under pressure. And the Palace of Swybin. This is actually bad news for Capoch. A lot of his farming economy, land economy is on the shoreline. And it's actually rangeable from the Carracks. Good value here for DeMusliM. In the north though, looks like on land. Capoch is pushing. He's got bombards, he's got horsemen. This is where the attack comes from, the north. Capoch wants to push on land. Bombards will make short work of that keep if it gets the opportunity to fire off consistently. There's a trebuchet in behind as well, and DeMusliM, whilst he's winning the waters, he's giving up a little bit of position on the land perhaps, but he's got firm control of the waters now. That southern dock has been taken care of. DeMusliM can fish freely if he so wishes to, but is going to be population capped very soon, so I suspect it won't be going for fishing ships. And ultimately I think as the English ship, at this point you probably don't need to, because I suspect that DeMusliM has enclosures, and he does, so he'll be getting gold and farming economy. It probably pays better here to have more farms. It means long term you have more gold in the Imperial Age. That would be key for this fight, because the thing is for Capoch, well, whilst he has a lot of gold in his bank, he's actually got predominantly horsemen here. He is raiding in now with a lot of horsemen. DeMusliM needs to find a way to deal with this. Doesn't really have the army he needs. He's got crossbows. That's not going to do well against horsemen. Horsemen will counter the crossbows. He's fighting underneath the keep though. Capoch is going to take a trade. Bombard is going to be starting to fire on the southern keep there on the shoreline. 2 trebuchets as well, looking to get those outposts and stables in the closer position. That monastery is at risk actually. 3 relics in there. The horsemen are diving a bit deeper in, and they will slowly be picked apart. The crossbows are staying alive for now. These are elite horsemen, and these are elite crossbows. Crossbows will trade relatively well actually, it seems. Does have a university there, getting the incendiary arrows, DeMusliM, and so those crossbows will trade even better. But stables are going down, and another keep for Capoch rather. That will solidify that position. That's a staging ground for attack. But if DeMusliM can hold, that's the key, because he's continuously getting gold trickling from that enclosure farms. Gold will eventually run out on the map. Horseman, this is a big missed opportunity. He's not attacking. I'm not sure why. I think he might be going for the monastery instead actually. But it's a bit of a surprise that he's not attacking. Gonna build up his army again, back to try and defend the bombards. Wants a bit more of a coordinated push. Farming economy a little bit risky there. I'm surprised he didn't have the farming economy on the west. As I say, that he does have some farms there. And now the bombards going to start to push back some of the army. Crossbows on spread formation. No mangonels though on the field. Oh, no, there aren't any mangonels. A bombard and 3 trebuchets. The horseman. Woodline is under pressure here. Might lose this woodline entirely. Villagers going down there for DeMusliM. But let's look at the land economy. Look at that. A lot of land economy taken apart. And the Ark and Chapel, that is huge. A lot of farming economy being boosted here, but there is a Springle ship just about ranging. That will slowly go down. Oh no, the Palace of Swabia is out as well, and that means the ability to replace villagers if he loses them is a little bit less there for Capoch as it could have been. And it just comes down to base building, and looking back on that placement of the Palace of Swabia, that might be something that Capoch is regretting right now. Does have some bombards working on the Wingard Palace. Capoch has 3 trebuchets. It looks like DeMusliM has taken into spearmen. And these are elite spearmen. Horsemen are not going to be enough here. Capoch has so much gold in the bank, but he's saving it up. He wants a good push here, you feel. Probably crossbows and spearmen are going to do fantastically well to hold here, especially with the network of citadels bonus, increasing the attack speed by 50%. That is absolutely spectacular. So you see Carracks coming in there. Going to protect that shoreline. Capoch just biding his time, waiting, taking some of the relics now with the prelates. That's 2 of the relics there. That's actually quite nice. He's going to get all 5 relics eventually. 3 trebuchets unpack. Horsemen going on the north. Let's leave this area exposed. Takes out the mill. That's a problem for these farmers. They can take the northern sacred site. It does have the southern sacred site as well, so Capoch actually looking quite strong here. 33 minutes into the game. Villagers going to be going down there for DeMusliM. Holy moly. Economy being lost here. 99 villagers and decreasing, but now there is the attack that you see from the archers and the crossbows. Those incendiary arrows looking strong, pushing back those horsemen. Bombard takes out the university, for the upgrades that he wanted more or less came in. At least the incendiary arrows won, and a gold vein has been taken out. It's been mined quite a lot. Hardly any gold left, and DeMusliM is really building on that gold. It doesn't actually have that much gold in minute per income per minute. And it's really Capoch is getting huge amounts of gold, and it's because of the relics and the sacred sites. As it comes a push here for DeMusliM hand cannoneers, that's a problem. That's a big problem. When you see hand cannoneers, you kind of worry as the Holy Roman Empire. Hand cannoneers can be very difficult to counter. Also going to try and deny that outpost. Outpost looking to extend that network of citadels bonus. Trebuchets underneath the keep. With there's a relic in the keep as well. That's going to really boost up that keep defense. Lots of units going to be lost there for DeMusliM. Does have the military advantage though. 100 units versus 53. I'm not entirely sure where they are exactly. There's certainly a lot of them. The horsemen there for Capoch, a lot of them. 52. It just feels like a lot more, but might be the Carracks that are doing some damage in terms of the population space that DeMusliM has. Farming transition on the west side. That's 2 sacred sites. Sacred site timer has been activated. 9 minutes on the clock. Trouble for DeMusliM. He doesn't have any siege to push this back. The horsemen diving into the farming economy, and Capoch looking strong here. 76 villagers for DeMusliM. A lot of horsemen did go down though. It looks like Capoch lost a lot of his army. 33 army on the field, not very many. It's like DeMusliM's quite happy to actually make sure he has lots of units rather than economy. Doesn't really have a choice. He's losing a lot of the economy. But how does DeMusliM push this back in the sacred sites? That is the question. 3 trebuchets and a bombard and a dream. Couple of man-at-arms. Man-at-arms, not sure they're going to be helpful here with the number of crossbows that DeMusliM has. It's a difficult army composition to beat here. Crossbows, spearmen, and hand cannoneers that DeMusliM has. English renowned for defense, and while they're showing it here today on Mediterranean, as a trebuchet is to edge forward with the bombard, needs to be careful not to jump out too far out of position. We're taking down the outpost. And the southern aspect of things, well, look at this. Capoch keeping man-at-arms there, but he doesn't see this. 2 gold veins is being taken advantage of by DeMusliM. The horsemen going to get huge value on the wood line. DeMusliM about to lose a lot more villagers, but they are starting to react and go back to the town centre. Villagers are pretty tanky. DeMusliM does have textiles, of course. I mean, he loses 1 villager out of all of that, or maybe 2. Well, that's kind of crazy when you think about it, only losing 2 villagers despite such a huge raid. Trebuchets popping out for DeMusliM, cheaper from the Wingard Palace. Wingard army have been queued up. Bombard's itching forward, a little bit out of position here. Capoch might lose this for free. Not sure why he's going so far forward. Does deploy, trying to take out Trebuchet, but will lose a Bombard here, you feel. That's pretty expensive, especially with the attack buff that's coming in now with a network of citadels. In the west though, farming economy under pressure, Spearmen heading to clear that up, and it will clear that up eventually. But the economy 87 to 115. Capoch struggling to see this game out, surprisingly enough. Does have 3 of the 4 landmarks taken. Hang on a minute. Wait a minute. That's actually for DeMusliM. Could this turn into a landmark snipe? This is an interesting approach. Wait a minute. DeMusliM could approach this with a landmark snipe. There's only one palisade wall there on the west side there, saving Capoch, and it's just a town centre. And the thing is, from this position, you feel like Capoch is dominating. But we are 37 minutes into the game, and just looking at it from a macroscopic point of view, could this be a landmark snipe for DeMusliM? I mean, it's going to have to take a very long, slow, hard push. I mean, he could do it as the English. That is the concern for the Holy Roman Empire. But, you know, the fact that the English do get enclosures is kind of almost counteracted by the fact that DeMusliM has given up the sacred sites and the relics, and the sacred site timer is in play. Only 6 minutes on that. It doesn't really look like DeMusliM's going to be able to decap this north sacred site. They might even attempt to go for the southern one, but Capoch does have a keep on there. You feel like it's kind of a struggle here, because there is some ways back into the game for DeMusliM. But the trouble is, he's on a timer, it's 5 minutes, and you just wonder whether his opportunity will be that landmark snipe. How does he get there? I mean, does he send everything? He has to make a decision quickly because he's running out of time. 5.5 minutes left. A lot of man-at-arms there. Elite man-at-arms and horsemen and 3 trebuchets. 2 trebuchets though for DeMusliM can only put pressure on this northern expansion. And if he does push this back, that'll be pretty huge. The trouble is that the armor composition just seems a little bit better here for DeMusliM. The horsemen can't really ever engage with this number of spearmen, and the crossbows getting ranged attack. The fact that Capoch doesn't have a ranged unit here kind of hurts. The trebuchets unpacking, going to be looking to try and take down that keep. Will take some time. Network of Citadels bonus coming into play there. The golden hue envelops those units. Trouble is, timer is ticking. Horsemen looking to engage. Spearmen are there. The horsemen won't be able to get anywhere closer. That's the problem. Horsemen kind of an obsolete unit here almost. Man-at-arms might be able to rush in, but they'll have to overwhelm those crossbows, and the crossbows are the direct counter. So that'll be tricky. That's for sure. Outpost creep is coming up for DeMusliM. Both players essentially population capped. Horsemen heading on the north for Capoch, trying to get a wrap around those trebuchets. 2 trebuchets getting huge value for the English actually. A couple of horsemen do go down on the retreat, outpost being built up, but that's taking the brunt of the trebuchets. Only 1 trebuchet left for Capoch, and that might be going down soon. Outpost goes down, trebuchet fires off. Capoch loses another trebuchet. That's an expensive unit to lose. There are 3 trebuchets. I'm pretty sure shattering projectiles must be in for the English, but only 3.5 minutes almost to hold on for, and this is looking dicey for Capoch. Because he might be pushed back here. Looks like DeMusliM is looking to decap that sacred site. He does have trebuchets. Capoch just needs to hold on here, you feel. But might be losing that keep soon with 3 trebuchets unpacking. It just doesn't feel like Capoch has an answer for these trebuchets. There are no Springolds. There are no Culverins here for him. But it's just coming out to repair. 3 minutes on the clock. Anything happening in the south? Not really. Looks like Capoch is actually transitioning to farming economy. In fact, the south even looks harder to pressure now because of the keep that's there. And yeah, the big fight is in the north. Takes an engagement here. Looks like it's hand cannoneers as well in the back of this for DeMusliM. Spears engaging against the horsemen. There's just not enough army here for Capoch. He's going to take out the trebuchets, you feel. He just needs to hold on, Capoch, and does have the production capabilities behind this, you feel. But look at this, villagers coming out. Trebuchets making their way around, and Capoch has lost his army. Only 45 army there, 80 for DeMusliM. He's pushing forward. Capoch might have given up this position, getting another keep on that sacred site. I'm not sure if it got up in time. It might do. There is 1 trebuchet. Looks like DeMusliM might be bowing out here. We'll have to see 2.5 minutes on the clock. DeMusliM holding on for now. If Capoch can hold just for 2.5 minutes, that will activate the sacred site win condition. And Cannoneers looking to take out the army there for Capoch. Trebuchet working on that keep that's not yet built. Difficult to find a way back for DeMusliM here. Unless he goes for a landmark snipe, but how will he get through? There's too much land to get through, too many keeps to pass. And there's a palisade, albeit open. Could he go for... wait, transport ship? There's a Carrax. Okay, no transport ships. He's making more Carrax though, interestingly enough. Wait a minute. No, no way. No way. Do the Carrax range that? That is Capital Town Center. The Carrax might be able to range that. It looks like he's doing it. Let's take a look at what's happening in the north. He can't decap the Sacred Site. Only 1.5 minutes left. There's no way, surely, he decaps the Sacred Site in the north. He's going for a sneaky Carrax. Landmark's like... I need to know. Do the Carrax range this? That is the big question. I don't think they do. Carrax in the north. 1 minute 20 seconds left. Double the army though. DeMusliM has 100 army, 56 for Capoch. Does he have a way of decapping the Sacred Site? I'm not so sure. Southern Sacred Site protected by that keep. Northern Sacred Site protected by 2 keeps. Infantry going forward now. How can he hold on? I'm not sure he can. Carrax are not there now. I don't think he can range that. I think if he could have, he would have. So he's going to try and take down the keep. He's trying to go on the Sacred Site. He has paused the timer maybe? No, it hasn't paused the timer. In fact, because the units are still there for Capoch. All Capoch needs to do is just keep some units there on the west side. Rams coming in on the west side, going to idle the economy. Looks like Capoch should take this game. Only 40 seconds left. 37. Timer is ticking. Wait, there aren't any units there. Capoch is losing the units. He's losing control of the Sacred Site. Yes, there's a keep, but there's Trebuchet. The Carrax arranging the keep. This is a stunning play by DeMusliM. The 5 Carrax going to be taking down that keep, and there aren't any units there for Capoch. The timer has been paused. 27 seconds. There are man-at-arms there though. Does DeMusliM have units there though? He doesn't have that many. 2 Trebuchets. Does have an outpost. Oh, he does have villagers. There's other villagers coming out. He's going to look to try and drop something. Maybe an outpost, I'm not sure. Just keep villagers on the Sacred Site. He has 2 hand cannoneers. They've delayed things a little bit. Villagers jumping on that Sacred Site. There is a keep there. Trebuchets are packing 2 of them. That'll take some time though to get rid of that keep, but he might just do it. He needs to bring units here. Villagers are camping that Sacred Site. They do have textiles. They'll just need to keep a couple there. DeMusliM microing like a madman. And cannoneers hopping on that Sacred Site. This is a big game, but surely not. There's 27 seconds, 26 seconds, the timer starts ticking. Horsemen are on the field there, trying to push us back. This is really heating up to a massive climax. Holy smokes. Can't believe this game. Absolutely insane. Spears do engage with the elite horsemen. 11 seconds, 10 seconds. The timer is ticking, but can DeMusliM put units? Capoch just needs to put units there. He's not putting any units there. No, what is he doing? The timer has been paused again. That is a big mistake for Capoch, you feel. He had to just keep some units there, and that could have been it. But look at this. The army coming forward. Capoch down to 16 military. DeMusliM with 103. And this is huge. DeMusliM going to decap the Sacred Site. A big error there for Capoch. He just missed out on keeping some units there. Only 5 seconds. And DeMuslim's going to hold this back. 5 seconds on the clock. He has stopped that timer. And he's going to look to decap that Sacred Site. Slowly but surely, that Sacred Site is being decapped. And the English are pushing back. And how does Capoch deal with this on the west side? That ram rush has been over. We've not been able to keep up because there's so much going on the east side. He is now walling up again now. DeMusliM is going to decap that Sacred Site. I can't believe it. There's 5 seconds on that timer. And that was Capoch's way back into the set. But DeMusliM pushing this back, and that's going to be so painful for Capoch. I think he knows it's up. He doesn't have access to that Sacred Site anymore. And trouble for Capoch now is he's only got 1 landmark. Capoch only has 1 landmark. Sacred Site has been decapped. What a crazy ending, or near ending. I mean, we don't know when this game's going to end. 45 minutes into the game, I can't believe that was decapped. Absolute clutch play there by DeMusliM. Now the army's going to head further forward. And the thing is this army's overwhelming. Capoch doesn't have the military. And I'm not sure why. He doesn't have the farming economy. He doesn't have... I think he just invested too much and didn't have the macro behind it. And this is huge. 11 military. He doesn't have the units. Look at the wood he's got. The eco balance all over the place for Capoch. He doesn't have the food he needs to keep producing. What do you do for you in this situation? He's going to be overrun. 125 military, and really at this point, DeMusliM has got a steamroller of an army that he can't be stopped. And he's going to push this back. He's got the relics control again. No gold income coming from those relics. 4 trebuchets. Those 4 trebuchets just need to go to Capital Town Center. This is a way that DeMusliM might win this. I can't believe it. There were 5 seconds on that clock, and now all of a sudden things are looking bad for the Holy Roman Empire and Capoch. Can't quite believe he's going to be pushed back here. What a way to finish this set and this game. If DeMusliM wins this game, holy smokes, he will deserve his position in the winner's round. Longbowman, elite man-at-arms. And the trouble for Capoch is, I mean, he doesn't have the resources to produce anyway, but his production capabilities are going down. And this is a strong push. There's nowhere back for him, you feel, for Capoch. How does he deal with 120 at army? And this is painful to watch, I have to say. 47 minutes on the clock. How do you bring this back if you're Capoch? He doesn't have a win condition on the sacred sides. He only has one landmark alive. And he's losing his production capabilities. Doesn't have the resources anyway. And it's rather surprising because he does have 127 villagers. Balance just wasn't there. Losing strategic options like the Ark and Chapel, which he never managed to replace. What a crazy game in Mediterranean. The Carracks heading forward on the south. Looking to now take that Palace of Swabia. Looks like Capoch was trying to reboot, but that Palace of Swabia will be going down. Look at this army, this death ball of units. Trebuchets, 4 of them as well. Going to be taking those production buildings out. Outposts going out to extend that network of citadels bonus. DeMusliM smells blood. He plays the late game super well, and you can see why he's pressurizing. 38 military for Capoch. Capoch is trying to hold on, trying to defend, getting a defensive keep. He's not giving up just yet, and who could blame him? Does have some outposts with some relics inside, and does have some cannon placements in them. When he needs to mass up an army, he needs an army that can take care of this. Stable is the military production of choice, but I don't know if that's the play. Look at the number of spearmen that are on the field. Stables, I'm not sure is the right choice here. And cannoneers in the back as well, and this is looking rough for Capoch. Does have a couple of Carracks on the water, but he has to invest a lot of resources on that. Spearmen head forward. Now there are 2 landmarks on the field. There is the Palace of Swabia. Demolition ship comes out. But look at this death ball of infantry. Now DeMusliM looking to capture the sacred site on the north. Has the 3 relics in his grasp as well. A large amount of gold income coming in from that, and the enclosures from the farms, of course. And I'm not sure Capoch can hold this. This is an absolute kick in the teeth. Must feel horrible. 109 army versus 40, and the push continues. Palace of Swabia is going to go down. Is there a way of stopping this? I'm not so sure. Capital Town Centre is the one that remains in terms of landmarks. Slowly but surely, DeMusliM pushing forward with longbow spears and hand cannoneers. And oh, if you got to feel for Capoch here, but DeMusliM with clutch play with 4 trebuchets on the back of this with outposts, extending that network of citadels, and the push just seems unrelenting. Tithe Barnes coming in for DeMusliM as well. He's doubling down. He just wants to cement his position. He feels like he should be able to win this game, and he's just making sure, getting the eco upgrades that he needs, or these, Tithe Barnes, getting other resources from those relic income, and he looks quite safe and secure now. This number of army, 107, 108, he feels strong. Slowly creeping up, slowly, methodically, not rushing in. Going to be looking to take those outposts. The 4 trebuchets do so much work for the English. Boiling oil coming in that keep, but the trouble is the ranged attack from the trebuchets means that you'll never really have to engage with that keep directly. And there's not much that's standing in the way of DeMusliM and that capital town centre. A couple of man-at-arms and horsemen. Man-at-arms is not a bad option here, but there are hand cannoneers in play that will hold things back for him. But slowly but surely, methodically, he's pushing now. On the west side, a couple of rounds trying to break through on the west side with a couple of man-at-arms. But you just feel it's not going to be enough. Not with the Wingard Palace on the east side, and there's the White Tower as well as a landmark. Difficult to take out. Won't be able to take it out with rams, that's for sure. There's the big engagement. Trebuchets need to unpack and take care of that central capital town centre if you can. It looks like that's what the trebuchets are doing. Yep, that's what the trebuchets are doing. They go for the capital town centre. Capoch needs to deal with that, but I don't know how he can. How can he get rid of those trebuchets? There are 4 of them. It won't take too much time for that capital town centre to go down. Villagers will have to come out and repair, but only 4,000 HP left on that. A couple more volleys from the trebuchets and that'll be it. Spearmen heading that direction. It looks like it's going to be a landmark night. DeMusliM tightening his grip on this game. The second game on Mediterranean from this best of 3, and this is looking painful for Capoch. The capital town centre is on fire, and there it is. DeMusliM, he gets through. He goes to the winner's bracket, and Capoch loses in absolutely devastating fashion. But what a fantastic play by DeMusliM. Slow, methodical. Oh boy, I can't wait to see more games from him. Do check out the video playlist on the right end of the card screen there for you if you want to see more casted games. But take care and see you next time. Hope you enjoyed this casted game.